All right, we're going to work on solving linear equations. This is where it gets so fun. Um, and we've got a few equations to try. At first glance, they look a little bit tricky because I see some fractions, but we will talk about how to deal with that, so don't worry about that. One thing I do want to point out is you're seeing the word linear. Linear means if you were to graph these equations, they would be straight lines. Linear has the word line right in it. Any x value or your variable raised to the first power, and you don't have any x squareds, x to the third, square roots of x, anything like that, will be a linear equation or function or something along those lines. Okay, so what is the value of x in this equation? So I'm looking at this first one right here. You guys see this fraction. We're going to deal with this, but I do notice we are subtracting 8 after that. That is the first thing we want to do. So we are subtracting 8. We are going to use the addition property of equality that we just talked about in our vocab section. Because we are subtracting 8, we can do the opposite of that, the inverse operation. We can add 8 to both sides, and the equation will stay true. Because what I'm doing on one side of the equal sign, we are also doing on the other side. Your equation stays true. So I'm going to rewrite what we have left. 2 times the quantity x plus 4 all over 3 is equal to, because negative 8 plus 8 is 0. That's why we get to cross that off. You don't have to put in plus 0. You just cross it off. And then 32 plus 8 gives us 40. Okay, when you have isolated a fraction while solving, your next step is going to be to do the opposite of the fraction, which is division. We are dividing by 3. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. So the opposite of dividing by 3 is to multiply by 3. When I do that, I do a little times, and I do throw the 3 up here, and I'll show you why in a second. We are doing the multiplication property of equality, so we multiply both sides of the equation by 3 and it will stay true. So technically, this is a 3 over 1, so I have a 3 divided by a 3. 3 divided by 3 is equal to 1, so they cancel each other out, okay? So the times 3 is up in the numerator and it's canceling out the divide by 3 in the denominator. So you'll always see me put that times 3 up in the top part of the fraction. All right, we're going to carry down our 2 times the quantity x plus 4 equals 40 times 3. If you guys don't know the zero trick, anytime you're multiplying a number that ends in a 0, you can multiply the non-zero numbers. 4 times 3 is 12. And there was 1 0 that we kind of ignored, so we put the 1 0 back on, and you get 120. Okay, so we are trying to solve for x, which is inside this parentheses right here. You have two options here. I'll do the one that you probably have seen the most. You guys remember distributing. If you have a number in front of a set of parentheses, you can distribute it into the parentheses. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times, now if you notice, I haven't put a plus or minus after that 2x because I'm going to look at, should it be positive or negative? We're multiplying a positive 2 times a positive 4. That's a positive 8, so I'm going to put plus 8. And then equals 120. All right, we got rid of all the tricky stuff. Now it's just a two-step equation. Whatever's connected to your variable will be the last number to go. So we're going to take care of that plus 8 first. Opposite of adding 8 is subtracting 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. We can cross it off. Carry down your 2x equals 120 minus 8 is 112. And then because x is being multiplied by 2, the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. And we get the value x equals 56. Okay. Now, they go a little bit faster after we've tried one, kind of with all the details. So we have these try it examples over here. Your variable is in a fraction, so we want to isolate this n over 4. Outside of that, we have a negative 9. So the opposite of a negative 9 is to add 9, because negative 9 plus 9 is 0. So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. carry down my n divided by 4 equals negative 7 plus 9 is a positive 2. Now I go back, here's the variable. It is being divided by a 4. Inverse operation to division is multiplication. Remember, I like to put the times 4 at the top because I know that 4 divided by 4 is 1, and we get to cancel that off because 1 times n is just n equals 2 times 4 is 8. All right, part B, we don't even have any fractions. How great is that? I do want to point one thing out, a common mistake that I see from students. Do you guys see, here's our variable r. This 4, is that 4 positive or negative? And if I ask you that question, you'll say it's positive because it's a positive 4, it's a negative 12, but I will see a lot of students take that negative and think of this as a negative 4 while they are solving. So just be careful with that. We're trying to get this r by itself. It's with that negative 12, so the 12 is going to move less, which means we're going to take this 4 and get it to the other side. It is a positive 4. The inverse operation of a positive 4 is a subtracting of 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. We get to cancel it out. 100 minus 4 is 96 equals. When we carry down that 12r, we got to be really careful that we recognize that's a negative 12 and that negative sign comes down with it. All right, now we recognize that r is being multiplied by negative 12. The inverse operation to undo that is to divide both sides by negative 12. So those cancel. Oops. 96 divided by negative 12 is negative 8 is equal to r. And then let's just rewrite that. R equals negative 8. And we just solved 3 linear equations.